I'm Paul. I'm currently in the process of making Aliyah, and I thought I would start making a vlog because I've not seen any vlogs. There's loads of great vlogs out there telling you about what people have gone through, what they've done and things like that, but there's no one who's particularly been in my situation, and I thought there might be others, so why not give it a go and kind of document how things are going. I'm in my car because I am just about to have my interview meeting with the Jewish agency, who then give me a yes or no. I've been told by loads of people that I know who have gone through this before that this is just a formality and things like that, but I'm really nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. I've triple checked that I've got all the documents that I need. They've checked that I've got the documents I need. I went to an Aliyah fair yesterday just to again check that I've got all the documents I need, but I'm really nervous about it. But yeah, so I'm in my car, I'm just about to go in. I decided to make Aliyah properly probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I've thought about it for a few years. A few reasons really. First of all, I think it'll be a great adventure. I'm 35, this is kind of, you know, I'm sort of young enough to do it, but kind of old enough to know. So yeah, the adventure is part of the reason. Another reason is, you know, I live in the UK, in Britain, and there's been rising tensions and more anti-Semitism and all the stuff that's going on in Labour, and my partner's a writer, and he wrote a play called One Jewish Boy, which did really well, but there was a lot of anti-Semitism around it, which was ironic because it was all about anti-Semitism in the UK and what it's like to be a kind of Ashkenazi boy in your 30s and things like that. And there were lots of issues going from the sort of left-wing, sort of Israel-hating kind of groups, even though it wasn't about Israel, but there was this automatic kind of hatred for it, even though it didn't mention Israel in any of the marketing. And from the right wing, just because right wing people kind of hate everybody. So yeah, so there's that, and I just need a change really. So in terms of what I've needed to do, I had to make sure that I had all the documentation. That included my passport, which was kind of easy, my birth certificate, which was a bit of a pain because I couldn't find it, and I had to get a new copy of it, and then you have to get this thing called an apostle, which took a little bit of time. You have to have proof that you've lived out of Israel for the last 7 years. So I had to get the tax office to send me 7 years worth of proof of paying national insurance and things like that. So yeah, I've got my documents here. Oh, then I had to get a letter from a rabbi to prove that I was Jewish. So I had to speak to Federation, because I grew up in Federation, even though I'm actually part of the liberal movement. I got my parents' ketubah, their wedding certificate or marriage certificate. Then I had to send that to the rabbi, and then he had to send me a letter. Yeah, and so they're all the documents that you need. And I've done all that, and I've sent it all in, and now I've got my meeting, and it's all a bit nerve-wracking. Yeah, so this is the sort of first vlog I suppose I'm doing. I think I've got a few minutes before I have to go in. I think I might have to get some money out to pay them an admin fee. I can't remember if I did that or not. So I'm getting the cash out just in case. And I'll let you know how it goes and what they say. Cool. See you later. So you may recognise the costume change, but I had my meeting. Yeah, and it went quite well. It was really nice. I met a lovely lady. Her name was Moran. So thanks, Moran. You're very nice. She made me feel really comfortable when I went in. And it was kind of difficult because when you first go in, the security is kind of intense, as it often is in sort of Jewish spaces, or Israeli spaces. The guy first off asks me for my passport, and I give him my passport, which of course I can't find because it's in all of my documents. So I had to kind of like go through them all, and you know, you're vaguely panicked, and I was a little bit nervous anyway. So anyway, give him my passport, and that sort of all went okay. He checks my passport, checks that I'm on the list, which of course I was. Then you go through a door, and it's kind of got one of those metal detector things that you have for an airport, or well, like an old one from an airport, like nowadays not so much maybe like an event space or something, you know, sometimes you have them. Went through and then I sort of waited, and I'd actually seen her and her colleague Tammy at the Aliyah fair that I'd been to the day before, yesterday. So at least I kind of recognised their faces, and I'm kind of glad that I went to that Aliyah fair in the end. I wasn't sure when I was there, to be honest, because a lot of the stuff I'd already researched, so I didn't really need to have the conversations. I just thought it was good for me to go, just to sort of be there. And the security guy recognised me, which was kind of cool. So yeah, she was really nice and she was really helpful, and she went through the list of questions that I'd actually already answered, but she said, you know, we have to go through them again, so we did. And she asked me what my plan was, and I told her, and she explained to me about programs, and there's a program called Bet Rosetsky, I think it's called, where you kind of live. Sorry, you have to excuse my dog is here, and I've just walked in, so he's being a bit crazy. But he's cute, so we let him off. You'll probably see him in a bit. Anyway, so look, he's just like he's like laying on the floor, like loving himself. Anyway, calm down, Yoni. So yeah, it was really good. She was really nice. She told me about this Petrozetsky thing. It's for young people, which I vaguely fall into the category of at the moment. I'm a young person, but in November when I turn 36, I will no longer be a young person. But apparently they can bypass my old status and let me off because it's only a few months or something like that. But I'm not sure it's what I want to do anyway. Because you have to kind of live in halls, and you know, it's been a while since I lived in halls. I'd rather save the money up and kind of find an apartment. That's my plan anyway. But I spoke about Ulpan, and she said it might be difficult for me to get an Ulpan that's like intensive. And what I'd like to do is I would like to go and be at Ulpan for 5 months. Ulpan is a language learning sort of college or institution where you go and you learn Hebrew, and you get 25 hours a week for 5 months for free if you make Aliyah, which is amazing. And I studied languages at university, so it's something that I'd be really interested in doing, because 5 months I think I could get pretty fluent, hopefully. I mean, I could when I was 21, so I'm hoping that I would still be able to do that. So I spoke to Ulpan Gordon, who are one of the main Ulpanim in Tel Aviv, and they said that they do intensive courses as well, and they fit a bit more within my schedule, because I'm hoping to go in January, and the Ulpan that she was talking about, the Petrozetsky one, they only do it in November or in May. Which is kind of a problem for me, because I don't really want to go at around either of those times in terms of time frame. So yeah, that's kind of something I'm thinking about. I want to be able to go to Ulpan and just concentrate on that for the first few months without having to worry about getting a job, which is why I'm trying to save money. And so hopefully I'll be able to do that before I go. It's getting really difficult because things keep coming up, like random things that keep costing me money. So like my car decided that they didn't want the handbrake to work anymore, and it rolled down the hill outside where I live, and it sort of bumped into the vicar's car who lives 2 doors down from me. And it was only a tiny little scratch, but he wanted to replace it, and it cost me 250 quid. Well, that's 250 quid now that I don't have for nothing. So that's annoying, but it is what it is, and just have to try and keep saving money, I guess. So yeah, it all went really well. She was really nice, like I said. And now she said she just has to send it off for approval. And that's it. Then once I'm approved, they said she said there are 3 parts. So the first is the meeting, where I'll get approved. Then it will be the issue of my visa, and then my Aliyah visa, and which will be my passport, and I have to make sure that I only get that when I'm ready to go, really, because if I got it, let's say I got it in August and then decided to go to Israel for a holiday, for a weekend, to look around, as soon as I arrive, they will stamp my visa and say, welcome home, welcome, you're making Aliyah, amazing. And I'd have to go through that process when I'm not actually making Aliyah. So I have to make sure that I only get that like just before I make Aliyah. And the third thing is the flight, when you decide on the day you're going to go and you book your flight. So number one, tick. So that's good. And now that's all I've got to do is wait. I just got to wait and wait for my approval to come through. So it's kind of exciting and kind of nerve-wracking. But we'll see how this goes, I guess. And hopefully it will all be smooth, and hopefully in a few months' time it'll be the start of a new life.